year is like end of 2021, maybe it was 2022. I place a phone call to my little sister. I have two siblings, right? And one that's 9 years younger than me. And I call her specifically for a very specific reason. I need to understand this thing called Instagram. I'm asking her questions like, hey sis, what is a story? And how is that different than a post? I'm like, yo, what is this live thing and how do you go live? I literally didn't understand the platform at all. Anybody besides me ever placed a call to a younger person to understand a media platform before? Yeah, look, everybody has, right? And the reason I was doing this is because I had built my business of selling real estate in high volume primarily through telemarketing, right? Making cold calls to strangers, finding out what their goals and objectives were, presenting my service, and getting compensated when I help them to accomplish their goals. Because that's what really selling is just solving people's problems. I heard a quote though that really stuck with me, and it said, if you're a shitty marketer, you need to become a rock star salesperson. I am a recovering shitty marketer. So I turned myself into a rock star salesperson. I would prospect 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, rain or shine, 280 something days a year. And it worked. The challenge was though, is I noticed that things were changing around me. Anybody besides me notice that the world's changing very rapidly and very quickly? Yeah. All you have to do is look at these young bucks. What is it? The Logan brothers? They're the sharpest knives in the drawer. They made like $45 million last year. Because what they did is they parlayed attention into products and services and into boxing matches and into podcasts and all these other things. Okay, Kim Kardashian, yeah? Smartest knife in the drawer? Nope. Parlayed attention into Skims and she's a billionaire. How interesting. So we're living in a world where now distribution is free. Do you know how much it used to cost you to get on TV? You either had to be exceptionally talented or you need a lot of money. Do you need anybody's permission to post on YouTube now? It's permissionless leverage, guys. You know what you use it for instead of marketing though? Entertainment. Such an enormous waste of this amazing platforms that we have at our disposal. Do you know how much it used to cost you to get on the radio? You either had to be super fucking talented or you needed a lot of money. Do you need anything to shoot a podcast now? Do you need anybody's permission? No. How much money it would take in that previous world before these platforms democratized distribution? That is what has happened, guys. We just don't view it that way. The way we view it is, oh, I can see what my friends are doing. That is so cool. Oh, this can entertain me. Guys, it's silly. We have an opportunity to build a personal brand. So I realized that I didn't really understand this. And I didn't know what the way was, but I was either going to find the way or wake to me because my sister telling me what stories were wasn't going to cut it. So what I did is I did what I normally do when I don't know something, is I get proximity. Guys, proximity is power. You are one relationship away from changing your family tree for the rest of your life. I've probably had 5 of those relationships in my life. I grew up in a household, family never made more than $50,000, $60,000 a year. If the car broke down, my dad had to get a second job delivering pizzas in order to pay for the $900 transmission. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody had that experience before? Yeah, 65% of us have. Because even though this is the richest country in the world, 65% of people live paycheck to paycheck. So there's a very high degree of probability that you'll know what I'm saying. So I needed to get proximity. So what I did is I reached out to my brother from another mother, Jose Morales. He's my sponsor at EXP. He's been a coaching client of mine for about 10 years. And I said, hey bro, who do you know that does media the best? Because he's in a mastermind that you have to own 25 doors just to get in, okay? Expensive mastermind, about 30,000 bucks. I'm like, who in your group does media the best? He said, look, dude, there's 3 people who have courses and stuff. Nobody makes more money than Ryan. I was like, who's Ryan? Ryan Pineda. Ryan, like him or hate him, has 6 different businesses that do $1 million a month in revenue. You know what his main client acquisition channel is? Media. Do you know how old he is? Like 34.
Media as in YouTube?
Media as in YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, correct. So I said, okay, makes sense. So just a little pro tip, if you want to get proximity, find somebody that's doing what you're doing and pay them to learn what they know. It is immature to imagine that you can call me and be like, hey, do you want to go out for coffee sometime? I don't need your fucking coffee money. You want to go out for lunch sometime? No, it's not an effective use of time. I'm very busy. So to get proximity to Ryan, I paid him 25,000 bucks to teach me media. Okay? Now some of you might be like, oh, that's outrageous. Okay, attention is currency. When I say the word currency to you, what pops into your head? Money. So if that's what's true, I should be willing to trade money for what? Attention. Does that make sense? So my content creators were on calls with his content creators for a full year. And you know what we did? We sucked everything out of their heads. And now I no longer am unclear about what these platforms are for and how to use them or what the life cycle of attention is. And I've used these platforms to build two separate businesses that earn 7 figures. So I believe that everybody in this room with the right understanding of leverage, with the right understanding of what these platforms are for and actually how to use them, can do anything that I've done in less time. I've spent the last 17 years of my career selling 2,000 homes, 80% of that business being listings sold. I created a coaching company, 100 coaching clients, 30 one-on-ones, 12 of them make over $1 million a year. I own part of an office, I sold it back, and in 21 months have attracted 275 agents to the Elite Builders DXP. You can clap that up. In a marketplace that is, right? Marketplace went down, but we're growing. Why? There's a difference between company momentum and personal momentum. If you have personal momentum, you'll grow in any marketplace. I don't care what's taking place. So what we're gonna do for the next, 30, 45 minutes is I'm gonna go over with you what I've learned about media and how I'm deploying it, right? So that way you can start to garner some attention and we can get more of your unfair share of the business. Who's up for this? Say aye. Aye. I'm sorry, this is like $1 million worth of game for free. Who's up for this? Say aye. Aye. Good. All right, so I believe that anybody who teaches a class on media should show you their profiles and their metrics. Do you know why? Most of you guys as agents go to meetings where somebody's teaching media and they have 2,000 followers. You want to tell me how that fucking makes sense? You're laughing because it's true. They're on panels with 2,000 followers trying to teach you about media. It's ridiculous. Let's check it out. So here's my YouTube metrics, okay? 263,000 views in the last 28 days. How many people fit in a stadium?
Not that many.
80,000? So that is 3 stadiums full of people watching me. Interesting. Almost 10,000, 9,000 hours of watch time. That's a year's worth of watch time in 28 days. Let me ask you a question. Can you talk to a year's worth of people in 28 days? No matter how many cold callers you have? Nope. Because this is anywhere on planet Earth that there's an internet connection. Do you realize, like if you were around 200 years ago, if you had the best idea on the planet, do you know what you were limited to? The people in your village to tell them about it. That's fucking it. You know what this allows you to do? I can scour the billions of people that are on the planet and find the 6,000, the 10,000, the 100,000 that are into me and how I do it. Make sense? And look at that. You know what that means? We're monetized. That means that now YouTube is paying, yes, team, YouTube is paying us to run ads on our platform, which subsidizes production. Instagram, 487,000 accounts reached in the last 90 days. Go back to how many people were in a stadium? 80,000? What is that? 6 stadiums full of people watching your boy like this. I've had a couple people ask me, why am I wearing glasses inside? Here's the answer. The last time I did a talk like this, I had the glasses on. I was dressed up as Travis Kelce, right? For Halloween. My wife was, what's her name?
Taylor Swift.
Exactly, Taylor Swift. It's funny, I remember Travis, but not her. So anyway, and I'm giving the talk, and immediately as the talk starts, I'm like, oh, I need to take my glasses off. And then you know what the next thought that popped into my head immediately was? Leave them on. Do you know why? People can't resist talking shit about him. One post that I did got over 200,000 views. Half of them are like, oh, look at this guy with glasses on the inside. He's such an asshole. Who does he think he is? I'll never trust people with glasses on the inside, right? Look at me. If you can get half the population to hate your guts, you can become president of the United States. You guys are just afraid to get attention. You know what short form content is? 60-second content? It's like sitting in a room of billions of people and going like this. Hey, 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 hey! Why are people going to want to look at you? Because you're like, here are the 4 ways to do a home inspection. No! They're going to fucking swipe immediately. The only person watching that is your mom or your family. It's boring. You understand? So, my intention in showing this is not to brag or boast. It's to demonstrate to you, okay, the proof is in the progress. We've clearly figured this out because 2 years ago, what my feeds were was my wife posting pictures of our kids and what they were doing, which nobody gives a shit about, okay, except our loved ones. So, the reason why I crossed through this is I believe it is no longer social media. We should get rid of that term. It's just media. So when I say media to you, what companies pop in your head immediately? What's a media company? Warner Brothers. What else? Comcast. What else? Fox. What else? Yeah, particularly news. It's fucking entertainment. Huh? Google. Okay. How about like Disney? Are they a media company? What do they all have in common?
Great content.
And entertain you. Do you see? You need to be, look at me, entertaining. not fucking boring. Do you understand? But honestly, what stops us from being entertaining? Judgment, ego. I'm too cool to wear glasses on the inside. People are gonna make fun of me. Oh God, I'm so sad about the people that are gonna talk shit. You realize in 100 years, everybody you know will be dead. Everybody. You think you're that important? You were on a ball spinning around a burning ball of fire at 66,000 miles an hour. Like, and from the last I could tell, this happens once. Why do I give a shit what other people think? That's the main barrier to entry. I want you to understand this. But it's no longer social, it's just media. And as such, it needs to be valuable information that is entertaining. Let me ask you a question. Talking to people about how appraisals are done, is that valuable information? Do you notice the energy in the room? Everybody's like, Is it valuable? Tell me the truth. No, it's not. Because everybody fucking knows it already. Do you see what I'm saying? It needs to be valuable information, but also presented in an entertaining way. Because you're competing with all of these different people for their attention. Make sense? Okay, so it's no longer on the social graph, it's on the interest graph. Here's what I mean by that, is when these platforms came out, it was originally social. So what would Facebook do? Facebook would show you everything that your friends are doing. Then you know what platform came along? TikTok. TikTok only shows you stuff that you're fucking interested in. It is no longer on the social graph, it is now on the interest graph. But all you guys are still doing social. Do me a favor, pull out your phone. Pull up your Instagram profile right now. Yep, I know. Pull it up. Let me see it. Hold on. I love you. This is why I'm doing this, okay? It's not loading. I can see it.
What?
Who's got one that I can see?
My followers?
Yeah. No. They're just profile. So, and I love you, Chris, but this is why we're doing this, okay? There's a picture of somebody in a wedding dress. There's a picture of people playing dominoes. There's a picture of him and some old people. There's a picture of like a kid. There's a picture of his kid and more kids and more kids. This is all on the what graph?
Social.
That is why he has approximately 282 followers. Is anybody noticing this? Do you feel the energy in the room? Everybody's like, boo, fuck, I'm doing it wrong. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Do you see what I'm saying? Is yours the same?
I know.
Let me see. So I see here, are you talking in some of these videos?
Some of them.
Okay. Working out, pictures of people standing together, family members, I have no idea who they are, picture of a cruise ship, like I care, other people. You have a wealth of knowledge. You have built a 7-figure business, correct? Yeah. Yes. Why are you not sharing with people specifically how you've done that? What the pitfalls are? What they can learn from you? Because I'm curious, would they be interested in that? Yes. Are they interested in whoever these people are?
Well, I'm not marketing to other agents.
No, I understand that. Not to other agents. I'm saying even for your business. Even to monetize what you know. Because could you create a course and sell it on how to do it? 100%. You may not want to do that. Correct. But the point is let me ask you a question. If you have a personal brand, will it serve you as time progresses? Do you know why? Because you have built-in customers. Make sense? Thank you. So it's the interest graph, not the social graph. Okay? Now, attention equals currency. It's actually more valuable than money. Why is it more valuable than money? Tell me. Who could tell me?
It attracts more followers.
Okay, it attracts more followers. What else? Who could tell me why attention is more valuable than money? This is so good. Guys, we live with these platforms and we don't know the answers to these things.
That's what brings in the money.
It's what brings in the money. What else?
It works 24/7.
Wow.
Not fair. She's married to you.
That's true.
You can get it from anywhere.
It works let me ask you a question. Can you guys work 24 hours, 7 days a week?
No.
Can you work anywhere on the planet where there's an internet connection? Well, you can with this, but can you do it in your physical body? No. So not only is it highly leveraged, the other real value is that the audience compounds. What do I mean by the audience compounding?
It's like the idea of a super fan. That person shares it and that person shares it.
Yeah.
It's exponential.
Yeah, so being that the audience compounds, it means that the audience gets bigger over time. You guys all understand compound interest, right? That's why you invest money. You're compounding. So as the audience grows, what does that mean you can do with that audience? Monetize it in all different kinds of ways, right? Sell courses, sell real estate, get leads for buyers and sellers, attract people to companies, hire people, all different types of things. You think people who have tons of attention have any problem hiring anybody? You think Grant Cardone has any shortage of people that are filling out applications to join his company? All he has to do is post one post and he gets like 1,000 people, right? Why? Because he has a lot of attention. And frequency equals familiarity. So here's what's really cool. Brad, you came from where to attend?
Orlando.
Orlando, Florida. Clap it up for him. Let's go.
with me, I have my dear coach.
Dear.
Coach
Wow, I love that.
Aaron Novello. Who here has seen that face before?
If you haven't, it's my bad. I need to be doing a better job on media. It's my bad.
So he's a real estate coach, real estate agent, real estate investor. So
Yes.
many titles, man.
All
He's
those
been
things.
doing this for more than 20 years.
Huh?
He has an organization of more than 300 agents. You should clap to that.
That's legit. Yeah.
You closed more than 100 transactions for 10 years in a row.
10 years in a row,
And
yep.
twice 200 transactions in one.
You can clap that shit up too. Yeah, that's pretty good.
He coached agents, he coached me and helped me grow my business and scale my business to go from 0 to now closing 60 transactions every year. I have 3 full-time members in my team and my staff, and a lot of systems and procedures.
And when we met, precisely how many systems did you have?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Everything was in my head.
Sheets of paper.
Yep.
Anybody know what that's like?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All your business in your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. In your emails? Yeah. It's impossible to scale. So he was, very much so working, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At the same time, it was inhibiting because you can only grow to the proportion that your systems will allow you to. So despite rah-rah, despite doing cold plunges, despite running marathons that have nothing to do with selling real estate, you can only grow to the proportion that your systems will allow you to. And we worked really hard to set those systems up.
I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
The other person I want to introduce is Melinda Grimaldi. Give it up for Melinda. It's a real estate attorney here in South Florida. She runs a title company as well, closing hundreds of transactions as well. And she's a very good planner. Melinda is also somebody that poured so much into me and helped me plan. Planning, guys. Putting numbers, knowing your numbers.
So yes, I'm a real estate and estate planning attorney. I have a law firm. I have a title company. My law firm has been around for 15 years, but I probably haven't really been a business owner for 15 years. I probably only became a business owner like 7 years ago. Before that, I just created a job for myself. So I think that's like the goal for today, is not just creating jobs for ourselves, but creating businesses for ourselves.
Someone else that I want to introduce is my dear friend Eric Rodriguez. He's the one hosting the venue, the amazing venue that we have here. He's the top producer, #1 producer of this branch, closing millions of dollars involving with those commercial loans, investment loans, regular real estate, residential loans as well. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the experience with scaling.
My turning point was COVID, right? When the refi and everything was super low in rates, and I outworked myself like crazy. I was doing everything myself, processing a lot of loans myself, thinking that I was the only one that could handle all that business, and I burned myself completely out. Yeah, you make a lot of money, but you have no life. So I had to learn how to kind of let off the gas and give some work to other people.
Good question. When you hear the word scaling, what comes to mind? Scaling.
We got hand motions. Do that again. There you go. That comes to his mind.
There you go.
Automating.
Ooh, I like that one.
We're getting fancier with the words. What else?
Yes. Dear Coach, do you mind sharing?
I gotta get a shirt that says "Dear Coach." This is dope.
I'm gonna make you that shirt.
God damn, I'm getting all this love right now. This is fantastic.
Can you share with us?
Yeah. So
In your experience,
Yeah.
you coach hundreds, if not thousands of agents. What are those elements that stop and prevent agents from scaling their business?
yeah, there's 5 that I call like assassins, right? Because scaling to me really is progress. It's success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal and objective. Needs to be worthwhile.
Repeat that.
Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal and objective. So like becoming a great drug dealer is not a worthwhile goal and objective. Selling a lot of real estate is, and it's legal. I can sell all I want, right? So it's really about progress, and I believe that business is not a physical, material experience. I think it's a spiritual one. Like as you grow more, you can give more. But there are these intangible things. So we spend a lot of our time. How many people watch YouTube on a regular basis? Yeah, always trying to gather information, right? Yeah. How good does that information do you? How many people know what it takes to lose weight? Show of hands. Yeah, eat less, work out more, correct? How good does that information do most people? How many people know what it takes to get rich, build wealth? Make more money, spend less, invest the difference. Do you need a PhD for that? How good does that information do you? Most of this, it's not like the practical like how to. It's the intangible, internal things that are going on.
The tendencies you have.
Tendencies and beliefs and emotions. So beliefs are just opinions that you've developed loyalty to over time. So there's 5 assassins that get in the way of scaling. Okay? And part of the reason is because 65% of us grow up in families that live paycheck to paycheck. I did.
I do.
So do you know what you hear all the time? Money doesn't grow on trees. Oh my God, you guys went to the same school as I did. Ready for the next one? Eat all the food on your plate. Oh my God. And if you want to do something right, you need to do it yourself, which is horseshit. How many successful businesses do you know that have 0 employees? None. The people who gave you that advice were employees. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That's programming. It's very difficult to unwind that internally. It's more psychological than it is practical. So there's 5 things psychologically that get in your way. The first one is the staller. How many of you guys ever had a big decision that you knew you need to make and you procrastinated making it? Everybody should be raising their damn hand. That is the staller. You get an invoice, you don't pay it. Because maybe things will change. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go on that trip. I don't know if I'm going to take that little thing. I don't know if I'm going to... Look, it's happened to you, right? Okay.
You probably have a couple ones that he sold, you know.
Right. The staller. You want to have a conversation with us about EXP and you stall. You see what I'm saying? Like it's stalling. There's a decision that needs to be made. But what's underneath the staller? What's underneath it? Fear. Afraid of what?
Failure.
Fear? I'm afraid of what people will think of me and I'm afraid I'm going to make the wrong decision. Do you know what you were taught in school? When you mess up, what happens when you messed up in school? You got in trouble. Like this, right? And you were taught that collaborating with others is called what? Cheating. Not collaborating as adults is stupid. You understand? So the first one is the staller. Okay? The second one is the speed demon. Speed demon. Yes. Oh, I got to do this thing. I'm going to do this. Oh, my cousin needs a job. I'm going to hire my cousin. You make a real fast decision. And how does that usually work out? Shitty. And then you never take the time. Pain plus reflection equals progress. You never take the time to do what?
Reflect.
Reflect on what did I do wrong. So then do you know what you do? Repeat the same problem over and over. Look how many heads are nodding. Okay? So that's the next one. The third one is the supervisor. If you ever get yourself to a point where you're willing to pay somebody to do something for you, do you know what you do? You hover over them and end up taking it back from them and doing it for them. Oh, there's another head nodding. Do you know why you do that? Control, and you don't trust people. Notice, are any of these have to do with the practical world? Nope, not the physical world. It's all internal, right?
Yep.
The fourth one is the saver. I'm saving a little nest egg. Oh, I can't take that course. It's $1,000. That's a lot of money. I'm saving. Oh, I can't hire that person. It's too much money. Guys, the real currency is knowledge. It's not this. My family of origin lived paycheck to paycheck and was on food stamps multiple times. I am a multi-millionaire. How is that possible? Do you think I learned that in college? No, emphatically no. Okay? I learned that from getting proximity to people who know how to make money. And you know what I had to do to get proximity to them? What do you think it is? Pay them! Bro, you know how many people call me on a regular basis? They're like, hey bro, can I take you out to coffee? I'm like, dude, I don't need your coffee money. That is not a valuable exchange.
Not even a steak?
No, it's not I don't need your dinner money, bro. It's not a valuable exchange. Do you see what I'm saying? So the saver, you don't invest in your business, you don't do that, right? The last one is the self-medicator. When things go right, you know what you do? You celebrate with food, alcohol, and substances. When things go wrong, do you know what you do? You go back to food, alcohol, and substances. And then do you know what happens? You're in this perpetual cycle. Yep, deep breaths that never change. Do you understand? Hey, you know what's the energy in the room? It went from like, haha, this is cool, to like, fuck.
Man, this is no longer fun.
This is no longer fun. You know, the first time we had a coaching call, one-on-one coaching call, do you know what he had to do?
I have to take a nap.
Take a nap.
Yeah.
It was heavy. It was intense.
What do you guys think of those 5 that you are maybe struggling with one of those right now that is stopping you to get your visa.
Or combination.
Or a combination, yeah. All five. What comes to mind?
Okay.
All five, yeah.
But which one is the most pronounced?
Yeah.
The saver.
The saver for you.
Okay, saver for you, same for you. Right? Do it yourself is really about doing what? Saving money.
Yeah, so you don't have to pay anybody to do it.
Yeah.
So like think about that. If energetically I'm like this with money, how do I expect more to get put in?
That's why awareness is key. Like all that we're talking about, like all these things in this list, these 5 demons, or what did you call them? Demons?
Assassins.
Assassins.
Damn, you were hard demons.
Demons, wow, whatever. They're interchangeable, I guess. But they can be demons.
We all have this, guys. All of us. But you know what we do instead? We go on Instagram. Life is great. I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
Hashtag thriving. Hashtag abundance. Meanwhile, I'm on calls with people and they're crying. How many times? Okay.
Why it's so natural to.
We had a conversation.
You avoid it. Yeah.
We've so what I'm aware of, because I have the good fortune of working with him. How many conversations that we've had that you vehemently disagree with what I'm saying to you?
Almost everyone.
Yeah. And how many times, like, I will say something to you, and for 45 minutes you'll be like, no, that's not what's true.
At least 80% of the time.
Right? So here.
didn't believe it was true?
No, I mean, here's the thing.
Yes.
It's Ray Dalio that says you got to triangulate truth with
Believable people.
Believable people. Meaning that what he did right there is it's a coaching call for me. He's like tackling exactly and deeply what it's going to and going into the conversation there, right? Sometimes we just push ourselves because again, it's like years and years just lying to ourselves that it's not fear, that it's not failure, right? But internally, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
We're fearful of something.
These things, they will resurface themselves at different times, and you might have some that you're more likely to go back to, right? But I've done I'm sure you as well, I've done a lot of personal coaching, I've done a lot of personal development. I pay people to do that to me on a weekly basis as well. And so, because I'm like, just tell me what it is. Like, here's what I think. I know I'm wrong, but like, tell me what it is. Because sometimes if we wait too long to reflect on ourselves, we bullshit ourselves. Our ego is trying to keep us safe from that feeling.
And the people that are around us, meaning well, it happened here. As we started to get into it, everybody else felt uncomfortable for you, so they started to try to talk to take it away from you.
Yeah.
You know what your people that love you do? Oh, papi, you're good just the way you are. And do you know how much that helps you? Fucking zero. Nothing. So here's the question, whether it's me or anybody else. Until now, how many people do you have in your life that you give permission to do that?
To do what?
Call you
Confront you.
Oh, a few.
Who?
I've surrounded myself with mentors, with
Claro, but how often do you speak to them?
daily.
Okay, and do they do this with you?
Yeah.
Okay, then good. Then keep doing that.
No, I'm telling you.
Then good. But that's what she's referring to. If you're a shitty marketer, you have to become a world-class salesperson. For 15 years of my career, because of the instruction I was getting, didn't pay attention to marketing at all, so I turned myself into the Michael Jordan of selling real estate. I could list 100 homes a year. I did that 10 years in a row. Did 200 deals a year twice because I didn't understand this. But if you understand this, I can make $1 million a year being a world-class salesperson. I can make $10 million a year doing this. So you just got to be all the way in, and you got to see the value, and you got to be willing to, because here's the other thing I'm noticing is that the barrier to entry is getting bigger. So it used to be you could just flip your camera on and talk, and that worked. That doesn't work anymore. You have to have captions. It has to be quality video, right? If you watch YouTube Shorts, it's got to get attention. You have to edit it proper. Like, the barrier to entry is getting harder. And I think it's only going to increase. Because this gentleman said it's the new TV. I believe that that's true. But will you watch a shitty show on TV that has shitty camera and shitty lighting and somebody on there that's going,
"Hi, this is the 5 ways to do an inspection"?
You will not, right? So and you can get into this inexpensively. If you go on to Fiverr, you'll find people who can edit your videos. And yet, spend a little on a camera, and it's consistency over time. So it took me a year. I went from 2,000 followers to just close to 10,000 now. I went from touching 8,000 accounts to 250, $250,000. That is 4 football stadiums worth of people watching me every month. I can sell lots of things, right? So you just gotta really buy into it. The tools that you need. You don't really need more than your phone. iPhones are ridiculous, right? But you need a camera, you need some lighting, you need a microphone. Stop shooting videos without microphones. They cost $25 on Amazon. It's a little lapel mic, you stick it here, it'll make you sound like a rock star. If your video is crappy, people won't watch. Doesn't matter if your audio is crappy, they won't watch. So you need a little microphone, it costs 25 bucks, you already have the phone in your pocket. You need ideas. Now, the interesting part about ideas is people think they have to create all this stuff. You don't, you could just document what you're doing. It's documentation. The way I started this is when I was setting appointments, I would just flip the camera on and record it. That's it. I'm not doing, you do cool shit all the time. You just, nobody can see you do it, right? So flip the camera on, have the presence of mind. Oh, I can flip the camera on right now and just record this, right? And then I need someone to edit, chop, and post. If you're serious, if you want to go all the way in. Because there's some people in the room that still do it themselves. I'd say everybody in the room still does it themselves, except people that are all the way in, which is like 3 in the room of everybody else. But you start to think with your DIY mentality, because 65% of us came from parents that live paycheck to paycheck, I'm gonna figure out how to edit this myself. Good for you. And after 6 months and you post fucking very little, I'll be at like 20,000 and you'll be at like 300, right? So you don't need that much. Cumulatively, between this might cost 300 bucks a month, somebody to send you ideas, roughly, that could probably be included, the microphone, and this. And then it's just consistency. It's volume over time. Most people don't produce 1% outcomes because they drastically underestimate the volume of activity that's required over an extended period of time. So if I told you you could get all the attention that you want, which equals, but you had to post 4 times a day for the next 10 years, would you do it? Yes. Yeah, you guys say that shit. You can also, there's this thing called ChatGPT, where you could say, hey, act like a real estate agent, a top producing real estate agent in Plantation, Florida, and give me 10 videos that people would want to see. And it'll go, and then you could go, now act like Mr. Beast and give me the titles and the thumbnails for those videos. And it'll go, and you'd be like, act like a TV producer and give me the actual script for each one of those videos. And it'll go, guys, there's no excuse, none. It's just insecurity, fear, and I'm not all the way in. I don't understand its value because the things that you make time for things that are important. Do you brush your teeth every day? Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's important. You ever like, nah, screw that brush teeth thing? Do you do that with this though?
Yeah.
And the real reason so you tell yourself this story that it's all these other things when it really is you're just insecure about it. That's all it is, right? So here's with ChatGPT. I'm a residential realtor in City State with a YouTube channel. I create videos to educate people on buying and selling in blank. And I explain what it is to live in blank. Please write an 8-minute video outline for blank. It does it for you. Can it be any easier, guys? Now this is $1 million right here, okay? All the ideas you need for a whole year. What's the cost of living in Plantation, Florida in 2023? Pros and cons of living in Plantation, Florida in 2023. X things you need to know before you move to Plantation, Florida in 2023. Guys, this is gold. If you haven't taken a picture of this shit, like, all you guys are like, I would watch that shit, yeah. Does $500,000 get you in Weston in 2023?
Nothing.
Yeah, a shack, like an outhouse. What does X amount give you in sub-community? But this is, bro, if you do this, these are all your videos. And by the way, you could just interchange the year and repeat, rinse and repeat next year. Do you see? You have everything you need. But now it's just a matter of this, you declaring that this is important. Now, I want to share with you a few things because I know that this is also something. Look, perfectionism is the fear, that says objection, it's wrong. Perfection is the fear of failure in disguise. Perfectionism is the fear of failure in disguise. You're just afraid of failing. And it's unfortunate that in our modern school systems, we still have this environment in which if you mess up, what happens? You get punished. That's fucking stupid because the way we learn is by messing up. When you learned how to walk, did you get slapped on the wrist because you fell down? Can you imagine, how many people have children? Can you imagine as they were walking, like the first time they stand up and fell down, you're like, God damn it, what's wrong with you, bro? Like seriously, man? By the way, does that baby read the 10 ways how to walk? How do they learn? How many times do they fall down? Thousands. Takes like to a year for them to figure it out. Because how does it start? First they stand up, fall down, cry. Stand up, fall down, cry. That happens for months. Then they stand up, remember when they hold this and you're like, oh, they hold onto the table. Then what happens? Fall on their face. Then they stand up and they're like, boom, fall down. And then one day they go, oh, and it's like, oh, they fall down. It takes a while. But perfectionism is the fear of failure in disguise. And the other thing you guys are deathly afraid of, which I know is true, is getting feedback from people. I'm going to read the comments. Actually, I'll pick somebody to read the comments. So this post got 76,000 views. Okay, I want you to understand something. That is 90% the Miami Dolphins stadium filled with people watching, okay? Who wants to read the shitty comments? This is great. Let's pick it here. Yeah, I was gonna have Natalie read, but you can read. You have a big voice. I need you to stand up and read.
Okay.
Just scroll down and read all the comments, okay? With this one, right there. Loud and proud.
Okay. Hung up with all that extra talking too scripted. I'd have hung up before while I have you on the phone. While I have you on the phone, click. A motivated seller wouldn't be complaining about getting too many calls. I love when people say, I appreciate that. No, you don't. Mostly good, but as a high D, you talked too much. After the first sentence, you lost me. Jesus Christ, I would have hung up so fast. Best way to make money in real estate is to sell courses to real estate agents, which you responded, and to sell 2,000 homes in your
Because the person who wrote that is sitting in their mom's basement playing video games.
They would have hung up long ago. Great job. Solid, and I like it. If he actually removes people from the list as promised, if they tell him off. Otherwise, he's just another lying sales guy. I would have hung up 1,000,000 times. It's actually embarrassing how hard they try. This conversation ended the second I found out I didn't ask for the call.
Hate is inverted admiration. You know what they're really saying to me? I fucking wish I could do that. But you guys let it stop you. Why should I care what somebody in their basement thinks? Why? You know what I mean? Like, I find it so unbelievable that instead of reaching out to me and asking me questions, look, Jack Harlow has a verse in one of his songs. He's like, look, when everybody loves you, there's only one way to stand out, which is to throw stones. You understand? Like, you guys have to just get past this. You all have gifts and abilities that you're not sharing because you're afraid of somebody saying that your beard is fucking whack, or I don't like your shirt, or you know what you're talking about, or your hairline's too high, or like what. Who cares? In the Bible, it says if there's a lamp that's lit, you don't put it in the closet. Put it on a table so it can shine light to everybody. Stop putting your lamp in the closet because you're afraid of what people will say, okay? With that, I will open it up for a few questions, comments, concerns, if you guys have any, with regards to everything that we discussed today. Yes?
I'm one of those guys with like 800 followers on social media.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of the camera.
Yeah.
There's definitely maybe some insecurities about not getting likes and follows, and I
Yeah.
feel like without really good content.
Sure.
And getting like 60 likes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of bullshit. Being said, I really want to get into podcasts.
Yeah.
I started building out an area in my home to do this.
Good.
Full candor, I have a real estate license.
Yeah.
My bread and butter is mortgage.
Sure.
I own a mortgage company. I want to get started with a podcast, and the idea of starting a YouTube channel with nobody following it and getting 0 views and putting hours and hours into this podcast, I don't know where to start.
I appreciate your authenticity and your honesty because I know that, look, there's heads nodding, like your experience is true for everybody. Story's one, story ball.
Right.
So I had 245 episodes. I was 45 episodes deep with 250 subscribers. Just kept doing it. Now I currently have almost 1,500 subscribers. I don't know if you know this either. Only like 20 million channels out of 150 million have more than 1,000 subscribers. You know podcasts, like something stupid, like 60% of them never get past the first episode? What I've learned is it's really about, if I go on there and I add value,
Right.
a lot, like tremendous amounts of value, then over time through consistency, it'll come, it'll grow. So like I could have easily stopped, and it hasn't been till recently, but the other thing I was doing, which was wrong, I didn't have anybody editing any of my stuff. So if you look at my thumbnails from a year ago, they were bad. Now they're good. I didn't have anybody editing with captions. I didn't understand.
In the US or offshore?
They're out of the country, but
They do good work.
they do awesome work. Yeah, if you're interested, just DM me. Like I'll give you access to the company. But let's say you're watching a YouTube. People's attention spans have been obliterated because of TikTok. So you have to edit the beginning of a YouTube like a TikTok. So I start off podcasts. I used to be like, hey guys, welcome back to the Aaron Novello podcast. When you do that, I watched on the analytics, 60% of the people fall off. They just disappear because it's boring. Instead, I just interviewed my personal trainer and I said, chicken. Something that is a staple in so many people's diets is actually really inflammatory to their system. That's something people are like, what? What do you mean? Chicken's bad for me. I eat that shit all the time.
So do I.
So, but you see how it captures your attention, and we edit it that way at the beginning. And what I've realized is like, there's like a 10-foot wall to get past in 30 seconds. But if you can get them to watch for 30 seconds, they'll watch for 45 minutes. You just got to get past the, right? So there's all these different things to learn. So you clearly have the ambition and the passion. I think educating yourself. Again, I got proximity to somebody who's doing it at scale, who gets millions of views every month and has 6 businesses that do over $1 million a year. And social media is the main acquisition channel for him. So I can learn how to do it, but then I need a team. So if you have the equipment, I need a team. Then I need to just focus on adding like as much value as I can, and then understand the equation V over T. It's volume over time. So it's most people, you separate yourself from the pack just by willing to keep going. And then it's just a matter of time. So like I'm just now approaching 10,000, but 2 years ago it was 2,000. But I guarantee you a year from now it'll be like 30. And my future self will be pleased that I kept going. So that's what I would suggest.
We door knock our open houses
Good.
a lot of times, and we used to get flyers out on the door knock, and the back of the page was always blank, so we started adding what's going on in the neighborhood, like micro marketing the neighborhood, what's happening with market status, or what's happening with the park, and invites to what's going on. And they would keep our flyers, and they would come to the open house with our flyers, so we get a lot less people throwing them.
Well, yeah, and here's what I would think, like, I would hand them a flyer, but it has a QR code, and the QR code takes them to a video of the community. And write that shit down, bro. See why your boy makes the big bucks, baby. You see, it takes them to a QR code, and then they get to a landing page, and they can put in information for the updates, but on the landing page, it has 3 videos on it. One about a market update, the most recent market update. Another was like the benefits of living in this community, right? And what you're doing is you now become the expert in the community, hyper-local expert. Any other questions? I think you had a question too, yeah.
In reference to earlier, you were talking about the avatars, but what do you do if like the avatars a wide range of both male and female demographics? How do you make the content to succeed with both?
Yeah, so I think you can still get clear on some demographics as far as like age. We also, like Sonia, she noticed like the majority of people, she's Caribbean, and the majority of people that are moving to Port St. Lucie and buying new construction are Caribbean. Because they all are asking her about culturally what to do in the area. I'm like, well, they're telling you what content they want. So if you started to produce that content, they would watch, right? So I would just kind of continue to like who's doing the business. And then even if it's like they're grouped together, I can still think to myself, like what are they motivated by? What are they interested in? You know what I mean? I can still start to segment out even as a group if I didn't want to niche it down to gender. Does that make sense? And I think too that if you really get into your, you really get into the analytics, you will see that one emerges more than the other. It's usually not 50-50. That's my experience. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, good morning. My name is Valerie Denal.
Good morning, Valerie.
So I don't have a problem doing videos and saying whatever needs to be said. My issue is I can't even it takes me a half hour to figure out how to post something on Instagram.
Okay.
I get frustrated.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, I'll do it tonight when I'm sitting on the couch for 5 minutes.
Yeah, so my suggestion would be is the solution. Remember how I said about being all the way in? Most people don't want to spend money to have somebody help them.
Yeah, but who's that person? Like,
Okay, there's 2 sources. One is you can go to a site called Fiverr.
Yeah, but, okay.
Go ahead, tell me what your concern is about that.
Fiverr?
Fiverr.
I think she's asking like who to choose.
No, I'm saying like, I don't know how to even do it.
Yeah, I get it. So if you go to Fiverr and just type in video editor, and then
Video editor.
yeah, video editor. That's what you want.
Okay.
And then it'll pop up. You'll have choices, and you pick one. And then they'll edit videos like on a per video
Right,
basis.
but then I have to take the video, and that's part.
So what you'd have to do is you'd shoot the video and then drop it into like a Dropbox file. So here's what's happening. You're gonna have to learn some stuff. That's lame, dude. This is about making money.
Okay, yeah,
it's bottom line. It's profit. So those aren't our people.
Right.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm not here to be a people pleaser. Like that's not why I'm doing this, right? Like that's not why I have taken the opportunity to step in front of the camera and speak about what I know. That's not why, right? Like when you talk about serving, you do it without the expectation of what the return is. I really want to see you win, right? Like I'm willing to spend hours of my week with you because I really want to see where this goes and how far you can take it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, right? Like I don't believe that that the ego boost that you get from someone knowing you is more valuable than what you offer in that moment. And here's what I mean by that. I have found myself, after realizing that people are recognizing me for what I've done and been able to do with Ryan, people are recognizing me, but I need to be ready to give them something to take away.
Yeah.
Right? The hi, yeah, it's me. Hi.
Yeah.
Like, that's not giving anymore.
It's
right?
not even,
Like,
that's not an exchange of value.
and so now my focus now is on, okay, when that individual asks me something, will I have a real answer for them? Something tactical that they can apply right away, right? And I'm constantly thinking that, okay, I can see people sometimes standing off to the side. It's me and Ryan standing there. We were at an event last week, and they're standing, and I know they're trying to get to Ryan.
Yeah.
Right? And you almost want to say, just come on.
Just come
right?
on, man.
Like,
Yeah.
just come on, let's get it done. Right? But you wait for them to take their opportunity. Sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't. All right? And I'm like, oh, you missed out because that was the moment for you, right? You're probably never going to get him by himself and steal again.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, take the moment. And then the videographer comes up to me. He's like, oh, I recognize you from da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And as I'm talking, I'm like, he's not coming because of just my nice video, right? Like, he sees value. And so what value can I give in order, like, for him to walk away with feeling like, they're the real, like, he's real. Like, he's not just one of these guys up here talking and being an imposter. He's actually trying to help people.
It's true for me as I hear you say that. That means like you are, you're equipped to be a leader because you're thinking to yourself instead of the value of this is the boost of ego. It's not like, if you recognize me, that's cool, but I want to be able to exchange value with you. Like I was telling my wife this the other day, before I go on stage or before I do a talk, it's more like, hey, listen, like, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for the ability to be able to share something that could be positive or helpful in some way. So give me the strength, give me the emotional intelligence, give me the intellectual intelligence, give me the recall, give me the sense of humor. Give me the enthusiasm to be able to pour out so I can help somebody in a positive way. And reminding myself, it's not me. It comes through me.
Right.
And this isn't for me. It is for you, right? And it's for them. And like, amen. And then you go do your thing. And I think if you do that, it creates like a shield, a protective shield, where it's so easy for that to go straight to your head. And, start to make it about you.
What you're saying isn't coming from you, right? Like, you're doing everything to exercise the muscle, but it's a calling. So you have to be aware of that and know that. And I'm aware, man. Like I'm telling you, like, I don't take anything that I've experienced in the last 6 months, 7 months for granted. Because I understand that this is the beginning. And I know where things can go. But enough about me. Let's talk about Aaron. You said you did a 13K year. And then 100 plus transactions.
5 years later.
5 years later. Tell me what contributed to that type of growth in that short amount of time.
So one was, I read in retrospect, I didn't know this at the time, but there was a book by Ray Dalio called Principles. And in that book, he says you need an accurate assessment of reality in order to produce a good outcome. Now, when he said that at the time, I'm like, hey, that's cute. Like, that's kind of clever. You know what I mean? But the more I marinated on that, the more I was like, wow, that's really true. Not the way I think it is or the way social tells me it is, but the way it actually is. And he also had this formula that a dream plus dealing with reality plus determination equals a successful life.
That's good.
What's interesting about that is if you ask yourself a question, which part of that formula is actually the most challenging? It's like, was it a dream? No, everybody's got a dream.
Everybody's got a dream.
Is it determination? People have various degrees of determination. It's the dealing with reality piece. That's the hardest because then I have to admit to myself, I'm not as fast as I thought I was, as quick as I thought I was, as smart I thought as I was, as cool as I thought as I was. And that for some people is so uncomfortable that they shut down, right? So the accurate assessment reality that I then acquired was, hey, the money's not in the service. The money's in the selling of the service. So like, that doesn't mean we don't give people good service. That's expected. Like in real estate, they expect you to know how to read a contract. They expect you to know what you're talking about. They expect you to know how to negotiate. What I tell people all the time is like, do you jump up and down when you walk into Whole Foods and they have groceries? Like, no, that's the expectation. They're going to have groceries there. You're not like, oh my God, guys, this is dope. You got groceries today. Where the money's at, though, is learning how to sell the service. See, I spent that full year stacking my time on things that weren't actually the thing. I didn't know what the thing was. So once I got that accurate assessment, I was like, oh, that's what's true. So then I got obsessed with learning how to sell the service. So I role played twice a day, 6 days a week for 3 years. I would hand write out scripts by hand.
Wow.
Right? Because in real estate, the conversation, well, the people change, the situations change, the houses change. The conversation never changes. It's always the same. Like, you know, my friend's an agent, will you cut your commission? Never heard of your company. Like it's over and over again.
Yeah.
And in the real estate business, there's only opportunities. There's no security. And I'm very motivated by security, right? Particularly coming from a family where they didn't have a lot of resources. So what I realized is like, if I get my skills to such a degree that if there is an opportunity, there's an 85% chance I'll be able to take advantage of that opportunity. I've just created security for myself and my family. So I got maniacal around practice. I would record myself doing presentations. I would record role playing, right? And I sought out role play partners that were doing like 200 transactions and I'm doing like a little, right? And pestered them and, you know, bothered them to get into their schedules. So that was the first accurate assessment of reality. The second accurate assessment of reality is that you can only grow to the proportion that your systems will allow you to. So I don't care how much motivation you do. I don't care how much rah-rah you go to. I don't care how much you go to these, like, you know, all these speakers that'll even be at WealthCon and they're like motivating. Bro, if you don't have systems in place, you will plateau. You will not grow. So with that recognition, we started to build a team around being able to process deals. Because most agents, what happens is they might get good at the soft skill, but they get capped out at like 3 to 4 transactions a month because they're doing everything behind the scenes.
Gotcha.
So we created systems really with the help of my wife because she's the operations manager. She's a specialist on the profile, so she's perfect for that. Analytical by nature. And that allowed me to just throw stuff over my shoulder. So we became a conveyor belt for listings where I could take 10, 15 listings personally per month, throw them over my shoulder, and keep it moving.
Going. Wow.
Yeah. So those 2 accurate assessments are really what allowed us to get to that place.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. That every time I hear a success story about how they scaled or how they improved their business, it always starts with developing a system.
Yeah.
And every time I hear about that, there's usually a woman behind it.
Yeah. You know what's fascinating about that? I don't know if you know this, but Mr. Wonderful, he said he only invests on Shark Tank with women.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know why he said why?
Why?
1 is they're better allocators of resources. And 2, they have smaller egos.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, wow, dude, that's pretty insightful. Because like, yeah, that's spot on. And what's true about that, Justin, I find that so fascinating that you notice that all of my team is women.
I'm seeing it over and over again. I mean, I'm seeing it in our own system, right? Like in our own company, where a lot of the men that you see, there might be some faces that you might recognize, and they may be up speaking, and they may be doing, and you know, but a lot of the really gritty work that needs to get done that's like time consuming, but also it has to be time efficient. They're there. The women are there, and they're just really good at it. I always tell my wife, like, you know, you're smarter than me in every way. Like I don't have an argument for what you're saying.
No, and I think that they have the capacity. I think by nature, men are very singularly focused. And women have the capacity to have their attention or awareness in multiple places at one time. So they could be like, you know, talking to the kids, cooking something, like watching what's on TV, talking to you, like all at the same time. Where we're like, nah, dude, I need like one thing.
No, 1,000%, 1,000%. So yeah, I mean, how important has, you know, creating the content been to the growth of the business?
Yeah, so I heard something recently that was very true for me. Was that if you are not good at marketing, you have to become a world-class salesperson. So that's what I did because I had a kind of like a mentor in my life that had a lot of influence over thinking, and he was saying that that's stupid and dumb and you shouldn't do it. That you should just focus on beating the bushes, you know, pounding, dialing, smile, dial, make a pile, that sort of thing. And I didn't focus on brand building. And it wasn't until recently, like as I made this transition, I used to own part of a KW office. I sold it back in order to participate with EXP. And I recognized about a year ago, right before we got involved, patterns. So patterns, like Tony Robbins says, like if you want to create outcomes that are favorable, it's based on the quality of your choices. We naturally think we're great at making decisions. But if you look at people's outcomes, they're not. And part of decision making is pattern recognition. So it's recognizing patterns, but then using the patterns. So one of the patterns that I was watching, I'm watching all of these individuals use media because I don't believe it's social anymore. They say that, but they're all doing it wrong because they're all taking pictures of themselves cooking or eating or on vacation. And what they don't realize is that the saturation of content on platforms is at like an all-time high. So more content will be put on Instagram today than in human history.
Right.
And tomorrow will be the same.
Right.
So when that happens, then from a supply and demand perspective, what becomes more valuable and more sought after is quality of what's being said, not pictures of your food at your mom's house eating dinner, and also production quality. So I'm watching these patterns, and I'm watching the Paul brothers use attention to create Prime and become a billionaire. It's like, wait a minute. I'm watching the Kardashians use attention to create Skims and become billionaires. So if you ask a question like, what's more difficult, creating a product or distributing it?
Right.
It's distribution.
Yeah.
So when I noticed this pattern, I said to my team, because if we want to, I told Carter, like, what we're really doing is like a ministry. The more people that we can bring into it, the more we can love on them and help them.
Yep.
And the vision is to grow to thousands of agents. Like, we've grown to 194 in 16 months.
Wow.
But the vision is to grow to thousands. And I said to Carl, I'm like, I don't really understand this. I see the pattern. I see the tsunami, the wave.
Right.
But I don't really know. I don't know what the platforms are for.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use them. And before this, it was pictures of my wife posting pictures of our kids. Like, I really didn't know. So then I asked Jose, who's my business partner, and he's in the Collective Genius.
Okay.
And I said to Jose, hey, bro, who does social media the best? Who makes the most money? And he was like, yeah, there's a couple guys that have courses. Nobody makes more money than Ryan.
Yeah.
Like, nobody. Period. End of story, hands down. So that was like, okay, that's who I need to get proximity to.
Yeah.
And that's what made me reach out to you guys and then learn. We also brought like a media team, the ones who do the editing and posting for us, where they could be on calls with us. So we're just like, if our bodies are the hardware, our brains are the software. So we're just sucking out the software.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like show us how to do this.
Yeah.
And very quickly, what's been happening now is that with attention, money and power follow attention, and then attention follows money and power.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a virtuous loop. Like Grant Cardone is the one who said that, and it's totally accurate. So now what I see is this is a land grab, because the barrier to entry now, like, we're here at your guys' facility, and this is dope.
Yeah.
I asked you I'm like, yo, how much did the room cost to set up? You're like $100,000. How much does this cost, right? So the barrier to entry for like small business owners now, I think, is $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like editing, posting, if you're serious.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to post stuff that just like your family members watch, you
Right.
need help.
Yeah.
So that's the barrier. I believe in the next 3 to 5 years, it'll be $10,000 a month, because that supply and demand, it'll just keep getting higher. Better quality production, right?
Yeah, and if you're trying to compete with us,
right,
you're gonna spend $50K a month.
You know what's funny is I did an event for our a local event. We do socials.
Yep.
And there's a guy who owns a title company, and he was talking to me about like media, and he sees what I'm doing or whatever. And I was like, bro, you post like once a day. You can't keep up with me, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
like 3 or 4 times a day on all channels.
It just
like,
won't.
it's not even close.
If you're not making any money, well, you probably can't invest with me anyway. Most realtors aren't very good real estate investors.
No.
They're just good salespeople. Dude, you're broke, okay? You don't need a rental property.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Let's say we decided, because we're close to the beach, we're like, hey, let's take this affair to the beach. Now that's a very specific environment. And as such, it requires a very specific strategy. So what would be our strategy to ensure that we enjoy our time at the beach? What would we need to bring with us? Morella, what up? Towels?